Good morning. This is the morning routine you should follow, man. Kicking off Monday, Mornings in a Lab with Keith and Friends is starting right now. Welcome to Mornings in a Lab where
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle improves blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're doing.
Hey, that's a super
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? That
There we go, you guys. What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You got it live. Mornings in a Lab with Keith and Friends. The only morning show to get your ass out of bed, gentlemen. Hey, we're kicking it off here on a Monday. We're starting the loop here. We're getting after with the only morning routine. You guys got to get going to get your day started. Hit those big goals and not hit the snooze button this morning. I got Marty Fit over there. He's hanging out with us in Maryland with the big storm, the big inauguration day down there in his neck of the woods. We got John Anderson. He's hanging out over there on the west side of the coast. Joining us for a big show. Of course, we got producer Jimmy on the buttons, hanging out with us, joining us from the Philippines, making sure everything works well as we get on with the show today. And of course, producer, our community leader, Tommy Walter Thomas, is out there interacting with all of you in the Mornings in the Lab community. So I invite you to go say hi to Tommy and go say hi to the guys here. Big show here today, guys. We got Scott Silverman joining us here at the 8:15 Eastern time. Mark's getting Scott. We got Jory Jansen joining us for the protein break. We're going to talk cholesterol this morning, guys. Yes, I know that cholesterol is something that we wake up and think about as we go through the years and the days. LDL, HDL, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, eat eggs, not eggs. I know John's got an opinion on it. We're going to talk about that later on in the show as well. We're going to talk morning routines. And guys, we're going to talk the future. The future is happening right now, and you need to pay attention to some of the things that I'm going to talk about today on the show. If you are a creator, if you are in the world of making video content, if you've been paying attention to what's happened this weekend in the world, you can clearly see the future in front of you. It's time to make content, guys. It's time to make video content. And if you're not going to make video content professionally and properly, I would just advise you to stop. No doubt about it. It's time to, oh, by the way, this show, we do drop F-bombs, S-bombs, B-bombs, and bad words along the way. So you might want to just preface the children to say, hey, you're either going to learn some good words, bad words, different words, or indifferent words, or just put the earplugs in their ears. Hey, just like Uncle Pete's in your headset. But hey, the reality is, guys, let's bring in Jimmy. Let's bring in John and Marty and the boys. We're going to have a chat with the boys. What's going on, gentlemen? Marty said you were going to be late today. You're not late, Marty.
Yeah, because I didn't eat. Usually I eat before, yeah.
So mercy, brother. You got to get that food in.
Yeah, if I ate, I would have been 15, 20 minutes late. I don't even want to do that, you know.
I love Marty, Johnny. I get a text from Marty's like, yeah, I'm going to be late. And then I look. And so here's Marty's definition of late. So if a meeting starts at 7, Marty's here like at 6:45, right? But Marty's like, I'm going to be late. So instead of 6:45, Marty's here at 6:48 instead. So gentlemen, if you're paying attention to late in Marty's word, Marty's late when he's still 12 minutes early instead of being 3 minutes.
Well, I wasn't that early today. It was like 6:55 today.
But you're awesome, man, because a lot of people being on time, like 7 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
That's not on time, man. You're awesome with that, brother.
Yeah, so usually when I get out my trainer late, I eat and then I get on the show. Yeah. But today I ain't have enough time, so I didn't eat. That's all.
So in other words, I don't believe you when you say you're going to be late, because I'm like, oh,
well, that's good.
You're still going to be on time anyways.
That's good. That's good. I created some trust with you, man.
That's exactly it.
When you say you're going to be late, you know the idea is, so let's say it happened actually yesterday. I was basically had a quick meeting with the new employee, bro, and I was running late. And I told him, hey, I'm running 5 minutes late. Of course, he said, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
But that 5 minutes gave me the buffer to make sure I wasn't going to be late for my 5 minutes late. So I call him only 3 minutes late. The idea is that you're always a little bit early.
Yes. I agree. I love that. Good morning, Piyush. I see you there, boys. We got a young man who's joining us from India. He's been hanging out in the LinkedIn feed. Say hi to Piyush with me. He has been he's been patient. He's looking to make content. He's not gonna. So it's funny, guys. I was supposed to meet with him a couple weeks ago, Marty, and we had a meeting in the calendar. And then I get up the next morning. He's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "What do you mean where am I? I'm sleeping." He's like, "I'm in our meeting." I'm like, "No, it was supposed to be 2:00 Central Time in North America, not 2 a.m. in India." So we kind of had a conflict on time zones there. So Johnny, I know you can relate to that with you working with your folks there in London, but I was like, we had a little bit of confusion on the time zones there.
Oh man.
Yeah, and they're all over the world. I mean, it's between London and Australia is the toughest one.
Yes.
They're really wonky in terms of us trying to, and the thing about it is once we get it, like for new people bringing on, once they're in motion, we're good. It's actually perfect. We need, because their day is our night. So it's perfect. Yes, time zone.
It absolutely is. Speaking of time zones, we have our good friend joining us from the future. Keith. No, not that guy. We got this guy here. I forgot about that.
What's up, Zoe?
Forgot about that guy. What's up there, Enzo? We got Adam Holroyd joining us as well. It's a good way to be growing up. My dad instilled me that if you weren't 15 minutes early, it's exactly it, Adam. You are absolutely right, man. It's we just being on time takes no skill. There's zero skill involved with being on time.
Well, I have a slight argument to that, and I keep in mind, I agree. You're talking Vince Lombardi's language. You said if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late.
Yeah,
and that's because you're running a crew. You got to run the whole team, right? But then there's those individuals that if you didn't apply that to them, they would still make sure they were consistent and on time. Like I hold myself in the I'm going to be on time, but at the same time, I don't, when I was younger, I did the 15 minutes early thing because I was establishing myself. Now people know when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I don't have to earn that trust with the 15-minute buffer anymore.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny. I had somebody say to me a couple weeks ago, Marty, somebody said, "Yeah, Keith, are you working on building social trust?" I'm like, really? I've been fucking doing a morning show for 18 months. I think I have trust. I'm here every single day. So no, I don't know if I need to have trust. I've been
let's go back with that. That's a good one, brother, because in most people's eyes, like for me, I want 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years is if you've done something for 2 years, now you've opened my door. Okay, let's see, because it's going to take 2 years for someone to have, their breakdown. You know what I mean? So most people think 18 months is a long time, but I think I like to put it on a scale of like, once you've done something for a fucking decade, you haven't missed. Now you're in that new level.
What's funny?
We're crushing for sure.
Yeah, it was funny.
Once you've done this for 10 years, then people don't understand that type of credibility.
Well, it's funny because I'm like, I built a social media company before, did pretty good, sold it for a couple $, and then I've been doing this for the last 18 months, showing up. So social trust, I think I have some social trust. Just
just a little bit,
just a little bit. Hey, so speaking of a good segue, guys, I need to rant for about 90 seconds, not rant actually, positively exude some really exciting just opinions and ideas, and I dropped.
I like the way you turned that around, bro. That was good.
Because I was looking at you. I'm thinking, no.
That was good, bro. That was really good.
I'm thinking, no. Anderson's gonna be like, because the moment I say negatively rant, Marty, I know Johnny's tuning out. He's like, I don't want to hear that bullshit. I don't want to hear that bullshit. But this is good though, because there's guys that are like, I don't want to hear the bullshit. Like, no, wait a minute, this is not a rant. This is a positive exuding of some excitement. And here's what it comes down to, right? And John, I'm going to look at you for a second. Johnny, so you and I grew up with 3-4 television stations, right? Just 3-4 cheap channels, right? NBC, CBS, right? Right. And we also grew up with televisions that were horizontal, right? I'm sorry, boxes. They were boxes. They had a box. They were a box, right? And then we went to a horizontal format, right? And now we largely consume video how? Vertical.
Vertical, yeah.
Right? John, what do you have on your face right now? Oh, they're called glasses, aren't they? Yeah. And are they vertical or are they horizontal? Well, they're horizontal. Yeah, exactly. So over 70% of humans wear glasses on their faces, which are horizontal screens. And we know the fastest growing piece of technology last year, which were gadgets, were the Meta Ray-Bans glasses that are AI enabled that allow you to use your glasses and look around, right? They're going to put a screen in those glasses this year.
Oh, shit.
So let's just do a little history lesson, boys.
God. So
Johnny and I grew up with CBS, NBC, Fox, the 5 stations, right? we now wake up today, and especially after this weekend, which is why I want to lean into this, and which is why this is special with what we're building. If you open up any of your vertical apps today, you're going to have a LinkedIn video feed, ABC. You're going to have a X video feed, Fox. You're going to log into Instagram video feed, CBS. You're going to log into TikTok video feed. So all we're doing, gentlemen, is looking to the past for the future. So tomorrow's TV is already in our hands, guys. So tomorrow's television is, and it's that Gary V video I dropped in you guys' feed this weekend, right? Tomorrow's televisions are a mixture of a magazine and a video. It's an app, right? So if you look at the future, guys, it's happening right now. So if you're not creating content in vertical and horizontal feeds, you're missing out. True story. Because tomorrow's video is going to be horizontal back again on the glasses. Right. So we're always going to need 2 streams of video because the phones aren't going away. But as we start moving to glasses over the next couple of years and viewing content within a horizontal format, it's so clear to me, especially what's happened over the last weekend with TikTok being banned and back now again. The next 50 years have been laid out in the last 48 hours, as far as I'm concerned. The next 50 years has been laid out in the last weekend of what's just happened with all these decisions. Right. So, go ahead, John.
Well, I was going to say, we all know that, Elon Musk is like, he just thinks so far ahead of everybody else.
Yes.
He just can see shit that nobody else can. He's so brilliant. Well, he's actually come on, or not him, his one of his top officers at X has come on and said, look, you're going to have X TV.
Yes.
You're going to have X money. You're going to have X. They're just turning that into like a handheld life. And it's kind of a bite off of some app that's in China where they, like 100%. Everything is right there in your hand, where, we could like send money to each other in seconds.
Absolutely. I mean? Yes. Yeah. So again,
X has it. X has a GPT too.
They do. Yeah. Grok. Yeah. Grok is awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that already in their app?
Yes.
It's in their app. No shit.
Yeah. I use it for my thumbnails.
Yeah. It's so really what I'm saying, guys, is there's no better time to start creating video content for your business than now. And I'll make one more prediction for you boys. If we look at, hey, Scotty, I see you on the horizontal feed, Scott Silverman. I need to get you on the video, on the vertical feed as well, pal. If there's one thing that, I'm proud of being a historian. I love history. I love the past. And I know, Johnny, in many ways you do too, because you reflect upon it. The history is a wonderful way to predict the future. Because all we do is live in a cycle. It's just a cycle, right? There's nothing new. Like there's nothing.
Like bell-bottom jeans, they roll back in about every 20 years.
New. X is Fox News from fucking 50 years ago in a vertical format, conservative view. That's all that it is, boys. And
well, brother, what you're talking about is the vein or the root of why you and I had a conversation about me being a part of this. Because when we were talking, it was like the throwback to the live talk show, like brain fart, curly hair, totally stern, yeah. And because that everything is cyclical, things are coming back around that way, and it's I totally agree. I mean, you almost can't get away from it. You can try.
And there's one more thing to think about, boys. And I'll just lay last thing for you boys, because you're seeing it in front of you guys. And again, I'm going to look to history, to the past, look to the future. How did Netflix start? DVDs. And then Netflix went to on demand. Well, what is Netflix now more than anything? Live. So all you have to do, boys, is look to the future. The next tab that's going to happen on X and Instagram and all the platforms is going to be what, boys? Live. And all that it is technical limitations right now. The only reason that more people don't do live is because the bandwidth and infrastructure does not allow us humans to do enough of it, which is why Netflix along the way, and Marty, you've been hearing me talk about this for a long time, that Tom Brady roast, the Love is Blind things, all those broadcasts were building up so that they could stream the fucking Super Bowl in the future on Netflix, because the future is live. Because where does the advertising dollars come from, boys? Live. The most money comes from live conversation. So
I got a big bet on next Netflix future because of this, because they're like the leaders going in there. So I was like, I see these boys bringing down the pipe. So I'm, it's when if you could really spot the future and you could bet on it, look out.
Absolutely. All right, let's go, guys. Let's keep the show rocking and rolling. Let's get to the accountability check-in. We're going to bring Scott Silverman coming in here. We're going to catch up with Scott. Hey, Scott knocked on our door in the lab, boys. He's like, hey, I got some stuff I want to talk about on the show. I'm like, all right, why don't you come on the show? Never met the guy before, know nothing about him, but we're going to have him in the show here. We're going to talk to Scott here in a few moments.
Name sounds familiar.
So not the actor Scott Speed, Scott Silverman.
I was thinking Silverman is what sounded familiar. Not Scott, you weirdo. Scott's the most common name on the planet.
That's what Keith does. He'll just pull a name out his ass and be like, that's not who I'm talking about, Johnny.
Jesus Christ. Silverman. Silverman is, I don't know. That's for some reason that rang a bell. Did we do a creator spotlight on him?
I don't know if we have or not, actually, Joey. Good question. I'll have to look into the art, the bowels of the archives.
I'm trying to pay a little bit more attention because last time we had a guest come back on and I fucking missed the boat, you know.
Sarah G, I see in the comments there. I do know Trailer Park Boys. Yes, I do. I'm a proud Canadian boy. Hey, Johnny and Marty, do you guys know Trailer Park Boys too?
What is it?
Do you know the Trailer Park Boys?
No.
Oh fuck! I gotta give you guys. I'm gonna send you guys some Canadian humor. I'm gonna drop it into our private conversation later today for a couple.
Man,
guys to laugh at. Marty's gonna look at me and go, "What the fuck is this, man?" This is
more than likely. Yeah.
Is Canadian humor is Marty gonna think that Canadian humor is like white boy humor?
Absolutely.
Marty's gonna look at this and go, "What fucking cultural planet am I watching this content from?" Because I have no relation to anything these boys are talking about. He's gonna be like, "What the hell?"
It's probably awful.
It's awful. So yeah, Sarah G, good morning there. I see you there in the comments. Good morning, Enzo. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, everybody from Substack and all around the planet. And let's do this. Let's go to the accountability check-in. All right, guys, let's keep it rocking and rolling here on a Monday. Woo! What a fun, lot of energy here this morning. Get onto the video. Yes. All right. Here's something to think about, guys. I got something for you. 5 signs you're stuck in mediocrity. 1, your mornings are chaos. Your day starts in reaction mode. You just react. No plan, no purpose. You just get up and just react. Just going in circles. And then you say something like, someday, more than today. What? You've got big dreams but zero action. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I know you right now. You're thinking to yourself, I'm going to get going tomorrow. No. Go today. Even if it's half-assed today, the fact that you're starting today is better than starting tomorrow. Your circle's low energy. If the people you surround yourself with don't inspire you, push them away. I know that's a big thing to think about here on a Monday of the Loop, but if they're not inspiring you, get rid of them. Get new friends. You avoid those hard conversations. Yeah. It's too easy just to go to the easy ones. You avoid the hard ones. You'd rather stay silent than rock the boat. But staying silent, it keeps you stuck. Keeps you in the same place. You're not going to get over there next week if you don't have the hard conversations this week. And finally, you let the comfort win. That comfort, it feels safe, but it's suffocating your growth. What's the fix? Own your mornings. Start messy. Get out of bed. Don't hit the snooze. Even if it's a 7 out of 10 today, it's going to be 8 out of 10 tomorrow. By the end of the week, you're 10 out of 10. Most importantly, guys, I invite you to do this. Sarah. Do something today that scares you. Do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it. Enzo, what are you going to do today that scares you? Adam Holroyd, what are you going to do today that scares you? Do it. Let me know in the comments. Come back and tell us tomorrow. I know you can. Every Monday and Friday, you know what scares me is fucking running. I know it's running. No, I hate it. This scares me. I hate it. I absolutely hate the feeling, okay, I gotta go in 30 more 40 minutes, but I do it. Why? Because the feeling I have when I'm done is so incredibly refreshing. So get after it, guys. Get up, get out of bed, get your ass going. Do something. Even if it's a 7 out of 10 today, 6 out of 10. Tomorrow's going to be an 8. Tomorrow's going to be a 9. Tomorrow's going to be a 10. Let's get after it. Morning in the lab with Keith and friends. All right, Jimmy. Let's bring the boys back up here. Yeah.
What's happening?
How are you? So I don't see I don't see Scotty on the horizontal feed there.
I got an echo. Are you hearing that?
Yeah, I got an
echo.
echo.
I hear an echo too.
I think I can get to Scotty there. Yeah. So Scott, we're gonna get you up on the vertical and the horizontal feed there, Scott. And I need you to get your headphones in too, Scott, because the headphones bring an echo into the show here. So if you can put the headphones on, that is awesome, my friend. Scott Silverman is going to be joining us here in a few seconds. Hey Marty, question for you, pal. So there's a lot of activity happening in your neck of the woods. Do you feel like you're on lockdown over there today, or what? Like, is this just fucking like military everywhere? No, is it what's it like down there?
Nah, I stay out the city when
Yeah.
I don't even go that way when we have events like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just stay out the city completely. So I'm not running into any of that. You know, I'm
so-
probably like 10, 15 minutes outside of the city.
Okay. Ton of energy out there in the east today. I'm kind of curious to see how it's gonna how go down today, right?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be wild.
It's actually pretty exciting too, to be honest with you. I think so. I'm just gonna put all. I don't really give a fuck about the politics of it all. I just think it's exciting. I think it's fascinating to me. The transition of power. You got a lot of international leaders coming to America that traditionally don't come for these kind of events. So it's all quite quite fascinating.
I think the cool thing about Trump is whether you like him or you dislike him, he's always going to bring some type of discourse or rhetoric or some type of attention. Yeah, it's always going to be something to talk about. He's going to say something crazy that's going to piss some people off, and then some people are going to be laughing at it. So I think that's going to be the cool thing. It's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Speaking of talking about, I found something up here while we're waiting for Scott Silverman. I found 7 business trends, boys. I mean, we were talking about video in the first segment here. Like, video is really, and guys, and Johnny, again, back to you, brother, my old brother from another mother. When we grew up, you had to have gazillions of dollars, Marty, to go buy a TV license, right? You had to go spend gazillions of dollars to get a license, to get a transmitter, and to get
a TV license.
Oh yeah.
Not to watch TV, brother. Actually, to be able to broadcast.
Okay. I got you.
If Keith and John wanted to start the Keith and John network, like we
would have never been able to do it without huge investors and all sorts of crazy shit. We couldn't have just been in the garage one day, working on our scooters. Hey, let's broadcast something.
That's crazy. Well, I guess not. They didn't have YouTube and
that's
all this other stuff.
Today we just look, we do this morning show.
Yeah, we just say, hey, let's show everybody the world. Let's show the world us working on our scooters. Push a button, boom, it's up.
Yeah.
Right. So it's fascinating. So today now, anybody can get out and transmit. Right. So it's just that's all. Like, starting a TV channel is as important as ever. But guys, 7 business trends that apparently are looking to dominate in 2025 that we might want to be thinking about. And this is an obvious one. And Johnny, you've been going through this the last few months yourself, is support for parents and families, right? Our mothers and our fathers are getting older, right? And, Marty, your mom's getting older, your dad's getting older, right? So maybe not today, but over the next 10, 15 years, it's businesses that are supporting our parents, good business ideas in 2025. Right, is if you're looking to get into business, educational marketing content, right? That's something else that's actually quite that many are talking about. 2025 is educational content, right? We got a lot of knowledge guys like myself and Johnny that have been around the planet for a number of years. Like, hey, I got a bunch of knowledge in my head. I need to go put it out somewhere and sell it to somebody, right? There's a guy like Marty who wants to buy Johnny's knowledge, right? Fashion resale and rental, that's a big one as well, right? Is secondhand clothing. Again, John, back to cycle, right? Something you would have bought 20 or 30 years ago, that the bell-bottom jeans that Marty's like, yeah, I want to buy those jeans from Johnny. It's kind of like a thing now, right?
Yeah, they coming back out, but he ain't going to catch me wearing them. I'm good.
I don't know if this is true, but I had heard somehow through the grapevine that the original part of Goodwill was just a dude who opened a store and put a sign on it saying Goodwill. Really? And people were coming in, but basically people would come and give him his shit and he would resell it. And it was like, it wasn't about giving it to charity. I think somewhere along the lines there was a charitable cause or what a nonprofit came into play. But what the fuck, just a sign on a window or the top of your store, giving people the idea that, and he was just taking shit in for free and selling it, making a fucking grip. That's what I heard. I don't know if somebody's got to fact check that. So I'm not putting my stamp on it, but it just shows the power of perception.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Does it ever show the power of perception? Absolutely. Some of the other trends in 2025 we're talking about is obviously predictive marketing, because there's so much data available to us now, it's much easier than ever to predict what's happening, weeks, months ahead based on historical data, right? So predictive marketing is very much going to be a 2025 business trend as well. An employee recognition. Apparently, there's more emphasis happening in the workplace. Obviously, some of the workplaces are moving out of the DEI initiatives and more back into merit-based, more back into recognition-based programs inside of the workplace. So, yeah, just some of the trends that are happening in 2025, which I found quite fascinating when I found this article here today. The other thing, guys, that what struck me from that Gary Vee video is that dude produces. So this is fucking awesome. Because I know, Marty, you and I share those all the time. And John, I know you're up to 4 pieces of content today.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we've been doing content is the future.
Gary Vee, 50 per day.
Yeah.
So is he posting on? Yeah, he's just posting multiple times on all platforms.
All the platforms, because that's the future. Because let's talk about it, right? And the funny thing is he's got a
if you're talking multiple platforms, I'm way more than 4.
Oh yeah, for sure, right? Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So he takes his 50 and distributes them across the 5. So again, the platforms being the channels, right? So again, if you think about yesterday, CBS, NBC, Fox, and in yesterday's world, Johnny, I'm Marty. I'm not to ignore you, but I'm just kind of doing history lesson. When John and I grew up, you'd watch Letterman like on NBC, right, John? That was it. Letterman would only be on NBC. Well, in today's world, Letterman is ubiquitous, right? So it's like you got Letterman on CBS and NBC and Fox, and that's the future where your content needs to find the audience ubiquitously, right?
It's like Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp.
It's exactly it. And if there's anything that I'm proud of what we've built here, and I haven't had much chance to show you boys here, is that underneath this show is an entire platform I've called Conversation OS. It's an entire operating system that allows us to take a conversation and allows us to take our show here within an hour and chop it up into infinite content pieces and distribute it across all the networks instantly and immediately. So I took what I did in ICUC and took what we built in the last year, and we got a platform for the future. And that's the backbone of what we built here on the show here. So we're pretty excited about that. It's
kind of crazy how sometimes your past life plays into your future life.
So
you know what I mean? I mean, we're talking about what you did with ICUC is literally like your preparation for this.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, it's absolutely true, John, because yesterday we were moderating, removing content, where today we're encouraging and, moderating a conversation around, we're still maybe moderating a conversation, but not saying what you can and cannot say. We're provoking it, right? And we're encouraging it, right? So
it's kind of just like taking your skill set and just using it to evolve.
Yes. For the future. Exactly.
For
right.
the future.
That's exactly right. So I was, I was quite fascinated by some of the things he talked about. And the other thing he talks about too, boys, on that Gary Vee video was too many brands, and maybe even us, the 3 of us, and I invite you guys to think about this a little differently, are thinking about social today like they were 3 to 5 years ago. Our content is not being shown to our social graph anymore. Our content is being shown to the interest graph, right? So whereas you had to build up your 10,000 followers, then you made your content, and then that content was displayed to those 10,000 followers. That's not how it works today, right? One piece of content, all it takes to get in front of a whole million people to go viral, to add a bunch of new followers. It's an entirely different way so it's now more important than ever. It's about the content, less about the followers. But one piece of content can change your world.
Well, like if you look on Instagram, you do a reel and you look at the statistics there. Yeah. Your goal is to get that to spread out to people that have never seen you before.
Yes.
But you do a post, it's going to pretty much tag the people that follow you.
Yes.
So you got to understand how to use the tools that they're putting in front of you.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're not taking a goddamn drill that you would be using on a piece of wood and trying to use that in your mouth.
That's exactly it. And Instagram added 3-minute videos now. So over the weekend here, boys, you probably saw or did not see, but with the TikTok change happening, Instagram now added 3-minute videos. Now on YouTube, 3-minute video, Instagram, 3-minute video, And it's just encouraging creators to make more long form content, right? But I will say this too, and then Instagram also changed their front profile grid. Their profile grid now is all vertical feeds. So you guys go to your Instagram feed now, it's now vertical instead of the boxes, right? So, and then I'll say one last thing to you boys, and one last thing I cannot encourage you enough, especially you, John Anderson. Ears perk up, brother, because you have a big following from your past, and I know about your future. There's one platform only right now. Again, back to the television analogy, boys. There's one platform available right now that allows you to own your audience. It's Substack. I cannot encourage you enough. I cannot.
Yeah, we've already got that in the works. Yeah, we at the Substack we got. Ben, my
yes.
What does he do? He takes our long form content and basically processes it and puts it on the Substack.
Yes. So the three of us probably need to chat here in the next couple of days or so to talk with some strategic stuff on the backside. But if you think about X, you don't own nothing there. LinkedIn, you don't own nothing there. Instagram, you don't own anything there. You don't. So anytime somebody follows you or likes your content on any platform, you don't own any of that. When I go to John and I subscribe to John's content on Substack, John gets my email address. John owns it. So if the platform goes away like TikTok did on the weekend for 48 hours, John takes his database, wakes up tomorrow, and resumes business. So again, let's use a physical metaphor. I have a building right now. Marty's renting it. Marty's been coming to my building for years, doing his shit. All of a sudden, I'm like, no, Marty, I'm closing the doors. What the fuck, man? No, it's my building. My building. You can't. Those are my people. No, it's my building. My business is fucked. Tomorrow, you're like, no, this is my building. These are my humans. So I cannot encourage anybody who's a creator to be a part of the Substack environment, because that's where you will own your audience.
There we go.
All right, let's get to the fit tip, boys. I'm going to come back and keep the conversation going. Dropping nuggets all morning.
Good stuff, Keith.
Jimmy, I don't know where Scott Silverman is, but that's okay. We got Marty. Marty, let's get after it.
Hey, man. We got to have people. They got to stop dropping out the show, man. You know? Oops. I don't know if I can say that. Anyway. All right, let's get to this fit tip. Simple today. Stop putting your fitness journey off. What does that mean? Oh, yeah, I'm going to start next week. Oh, yeah, I'm going to start New Year's. I'm going to start next month. I'm going to start on Monday. Diet starts Monday. You got to stop doing that shit. Why do I need to stop doing it? Let's talk about it. Well, for one, you keep putting it off. You're not getting fitter. You're only getting fatter in that amount of time. You're only losing muscle in that amount of time. You're only continuing the bad habits in that time that you're putting off. The best thing to do is get started right away. And just from experience, I'm sure John can agree, because he's been in fitness longer than me and training and been an athlete longer than I have been. The ones who start right away, the ones who pay that money right away, those are the ones who get the results. The ones who started, oh yeah, let me hit you up in a month. Yeah, I'm gonna call you in a month and start in a month. I'm gonna call you in 2 weeks. Those are the bullshitters, right? And you're gonna get your results and you're gonna be successful when you make a decision. You turn that engine light on. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna drop this weight. I'm gonna build this muscle. I'm gonna get this cardio in. I'm gonna make this part of my routine, right? Those are the ones who get the results. Right? So you don't want to get in the habit of putting this fitness journey off, because there's no staying the same. You're either getting better, which is closer to your goal, or you're getting worse and you're getting further away from your goal. So let's get to it. Start right away. Make that decision. Let's get this work in. That's the fitness tip for today.
To stay here, brother. Encourage somebody right now that even if they think they're not going to hit a 10 today, it's okay with a 7, because you might hit an 8 tomorrow, right, Marty? You might hit a 9 the next day. It's just because some people are going, yeah, but I don't got my shoes ready, or I don't got the pair of shorts I want to wear today, or I'm not really organized. You're saying just go, because tomorrow you'll be that much better to do it even better, right, Marty? That's what you're saying. That's your message right now, isn't it?
Absolutely. Consistent 7 is better than a 10 one day and zeros for the next 10 days.
Oh. consistent sevens are better than zeros along the way with a 10 here and a 1 there. I love that. Fuck, that's good, Marty.
call me John Anderson Jr.
Did you just pull that out of the clouds, brother? Was that a
that was out the clouds, bro.
That's a good one. That's good. That's when they're the best, you know.
I love that.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, guys, let's make some content around the morning routine you should follow today. I know our deep dive topic today was around morning routines, and this show is about morning routines for men to get started. And some of the stuff might be repetitive, boys, but that's okay because there's some people tuning in that haven't heard us before. Or they're hearing us for the first time. So let's talk about some of the morning routines that we want to think about our audience that want to get after today. But I got a question from Sarah G here, boys, which we may want to get to first, which is there's a guy I'm interested in, but he gets with other women. Is it dumb for me to try and be with him? Boys, Sarah?
I guess it depends on what you're going to be with him. How? What's the definition of be with him?
Marty?
Do you want somebody who other girls don't want?
So Sarah G, let's see, man. Sarah G was part of a conversation last week on squirting, I believe. So Sarah G is back here this morning hanging out with us.
But I mean, if she says be with him, that for many people that means get with him, be with him, have sex with him,
like relationship. So she's
okay. So she wants.
I think she's talking relationship. I think she's talking
relationship. Yeah. So is it dumb for me to try and be with him? Well, Sarah, I think that's going to be up. I think you want to spend some time with him and find out if, your values align. And then if your values align, maybe you pursue him and maybe you want to be in a relationship with him. Maybe he doesn't want to be with other women. I don't know.
That's a tough one, man. That's a real tough one because it's going to have to do. I mean, if it's so often it has to do with the space of the male. Where is he? If he's not in that space where he can do that, she can try all she wants, but it ain't going to happen.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, boys, I see. Hey, Silverman, if you can hear me, one of the things you don't know, pal, like this is a show for boys. You know how boys love through teasing. Like that's how we love each other, by teasing each other and cracking jokes and just having some fun. Silverman is in the room right now, boys, just trying to get his shit together. Get on the show here. I can just see he's frantically. He's like, headset here, headset there, buttons here, buttons there. I see you, Scott. Yeah, I see you, man. Producer Jimmy is frantically trying to get you in here as well. So if you do figure that out, Silverman, we'd love to have you on the show here this morning, pal. We'd love to have you on. Scott's a former veteran, so we don't want to be disrespectful of the men that help protect.
He's having a hard time getting on one of the streams.
I'm not sure what his chat. Here's the fun thing, Scott. If John Anderson can figure out, you'll be able to figure out, Scott. We have no doubt about it.
That's what I was going to say. It all comes down to top. Just look for the two streams, right? You got to you got to get both of them up. When you're logging into Yard Stream, you got to do it twice. You do it twice, you're good to go. Once, you're not in the party yet.
Marty, so a question for you, brother. I'm going to go on the table for this. I want to hear from you. There's somebody starting out right now. Pretend I'm your client. Somebody calling in. You're like, I'm Marty. I'm struggling with my mornings. What's a morning routine that I should follow that can help me get my day going? Christopher Martin.
Well, some people, I tell them, you might need to set 3 alarms. I know Johnny's not a fan of that. Johnny likes to just wake up right away, which I agree with, but everybody's not there yet.
Yep.
Right? So first thing, set 3 alarms, right? Do something, put something positive in your ears. I don't know. I don't recommend music, but it might be music for some people.
Us.
You can put us on your podcast. You can I have a playlist on TikTok I like to listen to, like a motivational. It got some Bible verses on there. I like to do stuff like that. And put something healthy in your body, right? Drink some water. What'd you say, John? Salt or lemon water or something like that? Or was that you, Keith?
But no, I'm a big one. I'm a big one on Celtic salt.
Yeah. So whatever that is for you, put something healthy in your body and get your body moving. So 4 things.
There you go.
And let me just put a little extension to that too. So I love Marty's idea of those 3 alarms, which is killer. Now, take that phone and put it 3 rooms away, or
that works.
Excuse me, in the other room, because you got to get up, get on your feet to get to that phone. Now, the time it takes you to travel back to your bed, you can talk yourself into staying up.
And
that's
if you drink your water like me, John, and Keith told you to, when that alarm go off, you're probably gonna have to pee. So you're gonna have to get up anyway.
Yes.
So I know once I get up and pee, I'm up.
Yes. Yeah. I like those. And for me, the morning routine that I believe one should follow is recognizing that you can't get away from what's coming. And what I mean by that is that you can lay there and hit the snooze button and lay there. But Marty, noon's coming. 1 o'clock is coming. So all those things that you're trying to avoid in your head, Marty, like when you're in the moment there, you're kind of going, I don't want to fucking deal with that right now. Or I want to do this. Like it's all coming. So you might as well get up and attack it. Might as well get up and get after it, because the time doesn't stop because you're waiting. You're like, I don't really know if I want to tackle this right now. Okay. Well,
I got a rant for that, man.
Yeah, do it.
Hold on. Let's cut the bullshit. You're trying to get an extra 5 or 10 minutes of sleep. What is that going to do for you? That 5 or 10 minutes ain't doing nothing. You ain't about to feel well rested because you got an extra 10 minutes of sleep. Just get up. Just get your ass up.
Let me take all this and put it into a little mantra that helped me when I was younger. If you want what others want, you must be willing to do what others won't.
Yep.
It's that simple. And it all starts with not hitting the snooze, because just about, I shouldn't say, well, let's take a guess. I would say in the 90th percentile of people probably hit that snooze button.
Oh, easily. Oh, I'd say.
Okay, so let's just call it 95. Let's just use a rounded number. So just by doing what other people are not doing, you're going to get what other people are not going to get. And so it's so simple. These little, you want what others want. You must be willing to do what others won't. And the game starts playing a different direction.
Well, John, what you just said is so predictive of even the conversation, how we started our show about the future of video and so forth. Like there's never been a time in the world, and Gary Vee talks about it. There's never been a time right now where, like, again, back to if I wanted to start a TV channel 50 years ago, I had to go raise gazillions of dollars to go start a TV channel.
That's so crazy to me.
Anybody now can create their own TV channel. But to John's point, you got to get up and not hit the snooze button and do it. Because most aren't. Hear me clearly, nation. Most folks will not do what you want to do. So if you can get up and do it, you're already going to be ahead of everybody else. Hence, the morning show. So Keith and John and Marty are a year ahead of everybody else that's thinking about starting a morning show. There's guys that are thinking, I want to start a morning show. We're already a year ahead. Like it's just inevitable. So if you want to be successful, you got to be willing to do something that somebody else is not going to do. There's no effing rocket science in that at all. And to Marty and John's point, there's somebody laying right now going, I'm hitting the snooze button, get up. Because the guy who's laying in bed, you're already ahead of him, man. It's fucking simple.
I mean, let's how many days do per, what is it? Do some math for me. 365 times 9. That 9 minutes is the snooze, right? So what is that? That's a shitload of your life. You're just fucking pissing away for no gain.
I'm going to do the math right now. That's a good question.
That's per year. Yes, and that's assuming you got the balls to only hit it once.
That's 3,285 minutes.
How many hours is that?
Almost 55 hours.
Yeah. Look at what you can accomplish with that in your life.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's a battle of inches, man.
Like, I'm just pausing because that in itself, right? Like 55 hours of your time is laying there by going, I'm just going to wait.
Well, and then to take that into more of an extreme nature, right? So and this is kind of my train of thought, you know, as I laid out my habits and my thoughts of being successful is okay. After 8 p.m., not really anything that's going on is helping my progression forward.
Yes.
So I'm going to slide that schedule, that I used to go to, I was younger, college, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I'm going to slide that thing forward. And I'm going to get up 3 hours earlier than everybody else. So I take that time that was once wasted and I invest it into me and what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yes.
That right there, if you can make that simple slide of your wasted time, you will separate yourself from the pack so goddamn fast.
Well, so Jimmy, I see your comments. So here's what we're going to do with Scotty, Jimmy. We're going to bring in Jory for the protein break, and then we'll bring Scott up here for the morning loop reloaded, Jimmy, at the top of the hour here. Okay, boys, here's what excites me though about what we are doing here. And I'm just going to be self-fulfilling for a moment here because, and this is what Marty, this is what you got when I first reached out to you. And this is what Johnny got when I first reached out to John, because, and I need to find a way to articulate this very clearly. So every single day we hang out for 60 to 90 minutes. Then we got our full day. Marty goes to Gold's Gym and Johnny's got his stuff he does. Every single day we talk for 90 minutes and we create content. How many guys right now that are sitting around, fucking around, wasting time, going, I think I should make some content. I think I should make something, or I'm going to do something. Guys, you start your day with a morning show or morning conversation every single day for an hour before the world starts. You still have your whole day to go to work. So if you're a CEO of a company, or if you're building your business, you can have a conversation in front of your stakeholders every single morning, build trust, build a conversation, go get your full day in, and you've missed nothing. You've missed nothing. Right? So John saw the opportunity. He's like, wait a minute, I can do my full day, come have coffee with his boys, create content for an hour and a half. Yeah. Marty's like, same thing. And Marty's, none of us are further out by hanging out every single morning. My point is, it's not difficult. You got to get up and just start.
Can I have a quick rant?
Yeah.
Before
please.
Johnny does his lifestyle tip.
Yeah.
All right. I saw a stat that said that most people at their 9 to 5s, they do an average of 3 hours of work. And I didn't believe it. But now that I'm running the gym, I absolutely believe it. So not only can you get up and join the morning show, you ain't doing shit at work. Now, I know this doesn't apply to everybody, but a lot of y'all are not working the full 8 hours.
Marty, nobody works 8 hours. Nobody.
Yeah, and I work on a lot of shit at work that has nothing to do with work, because I don't just do the morning show and general manager. I work on a lot of other shit too. So I get a lot done at work for business, for personal. I mean, I'm just saying you can get it done. You know, it's up to you how you want to use your 24 hours. And I feel like you can get a lot of shit done during your work day. This is my little rant.
Amy, I appreciate your comments there, Amy. I'd love to hear I'd like to hear from you later about what I'm being brilliant at today, because I appreciate your comments and I want to learn from your comments here. But I'm just speaking from the heart and speaking truth here today, because the reality is that it is very, like, this is the easiest thing you can do. Grab a cup of coffee, talk with your stakeholders, make content, get on with your day, and it's done. Yep. It's in the bank. Yep. And that's what John got when John called me after our conversation, Marty. I kind of see what you guys are doing here, and he goes, you mean if I can sit down with you guys and be part of the show? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I can get great content from me. Yeah. And there's no rocket science going on here, boys.
Nope.
None whatsoever. All right.
Am I off with that rant or
not at all.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I've worked in the corporate world, and it's funny, man. People get in at 8, 9 o'clock, and then 10:15 comes, go for coffee break, and then you walk around the cubicles for another hour and a half, and then you go for lunch, and then you come back. You know what it's like, Marty? Oh, it's time to go. It's 4 o'clock now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And when I get there, and they think I'm like, say I missed something at the gym. When I get there, they'll be like, you were asleep when this happened. I just laugh. They think I'm asleep.
Speaking of, I'll give you guys something yesterday quickly. So the Business Athlete Performance has built on top of Rome, which is a virtual workplace, right? And built by Howard Lerman and John Broden and the guys. So yesterday I was in Rome and I saw one of the guys I was trying to talk to. He's like there. And I'm like, oh, I'm talking. So in the old world, you got to send emails, book meetings, book appointments. We might have met sometime last week. I'm like, oh, he's in his office. Went knocked on his door. We met instantly. It was like, oh, we got work done like immediately. There was no big communication going on there. Yep. So anyways, all right, let's get the lifestyle tip. We're going to come back, talk cholesterol with Jory Jansen, boys. Johnny, let's get after it, pal.
Stop doing shit halfway. If you're going to do something, go full speed. There's no reason to do something partially. Even if you're going to do it and make a mistake, make the mistake all the way. You're going to learn from that mistake. You're going to learn from that failure. But what doesn't happen is when you half-ass something, you don't get the data you need to learn to move forward. Not to mention, if you're actually on point, you do it full speed, the return you're going to get on your investment of time is going to be tenfold. So if you're one of these people that steps slow, rethink this. If you're going to do it full speed. Round and round.
Yes, full speed nation. And you know what? Even if you're full speed, today's a 7, tomorrow will be an 8. You gotta get started. You gotta get started, right, Jory? You gotta get started.
Gotta get started.
Gotta get started.
There she is.
Our good friend, the GOAT, Jory Jansen here.
What's up, Jory?
Nutrition and protein and foods and everything. What's shaking, Jory? Jory, I know we've been talking about cold all week, having some fun with you. It's colder today than it has been all week, John and Marty. Like, it's actually minus 40.
That's crazy.
Jory.
You can't breathe.
was cold.
That's crazy.
Jory, I wanted to talk cholesterol with you here today. We talked protein, we talked amino acids and pistachios on Friday. I was watching some content over the weekend, and it just seemed like the content I kept running into, the ideas of cholesterol kept coming up, and some guys crushing like 24 eggs and 48 eggs. And Jory, we grew up in an era where everybody's like, oh yeah, you can't eat too much eggs, LDL, HDL. And I still think, and I believe that I'm right, and I want you to confirm whether I'm right or wrong, Jory. I still believe
that.
Please. I still believe men, particularly, are very confused about cholesterol.
Yes.
Because we have doctors telling us one thing, Western doctors telling us one thing. We have bodybuilders on Instagram telling us something else. I want to sit down with a nutritionist, a registered dietitian, an expert, and somebody who's been through the trenches, John Anderson and yourself, to talk about cholesterol today, Jory. Starting with you, what is it? Is it good, bad? Is it killing us? Jory Jansen.
It's both yes and no. So I think the confusion is there because it is confusing.
Yes.
Science is confusing. And so what we're finding is that back in the day, 20 some years ago when I was going through my schooling, it was, no more than, a couple of eggs a week and, such cholesterol in food, watch shrimp, all that kind of stuff, because that's what's killing you.
Yeah.
What we are understanding now, though, is that it's more complex. It's not necessarily cholesterol in food, but it's how does your body work and what does your total diet look like versus the fat content in food.
What struck me most,
and people don't know, people don't understand. There's two types. There's good and bad. There's the, and it was actually Jory. I'm going to steal this from you. It was so perfect. There's the happy cholesterol and the lousy cholesterol. It helps you remember which is which.
Yes.
HDL, LDL.
And the interesting thing is that
but I don't know if you guys caught that, but she said that, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm putting that in my back pocket." That was good.
I'm taking that too. I didn't catch that.
But it's true. But what impacts your HDL, your happy cholesterol, the good stuff, and your LDL, the lousy, the one that drags you down? However, what we know now, it's super cool and super confusing. So if it's confusing for the scientists, it's going to be confusing for the public.
Yes.
But we need LDL. We need the lousy. However, it's kind of like our emotions, anger, sadness, like those sort of ones. We need them because they feed us information. But when they're over accessed, it causes disruption.
Yes.
So it's the same thing with our cholesterol. So LDL, we need it. It helps with, because we need cholesterol. It helps with vitamin D. It helps with hormone balance. All sort of things. So we need it. However, when LDL starts like taking control, the boss who we need in control, the board of directors, the CEO is HDL. When it gets knocked out, we've got a lot of confusion happening in the body. So we need HDL to come in and be that general manager and organize, keep LDL doing its thing, not overreacting.
This is awesome. Jory, what really got me thinking this weekend when I was consuming content is that, and it was taking a page from Anderson here, which is simplifying things, which was instead of getting caught up eating processed and ultra processed foods, or should I have a bunch of eggs? Just go eat a bunch of eggs.
Eat a bunch of eggs.
Right. Like so instead of somebody saying, oh, you're gonna get a bunch of cholesterol because you're eating all these eggs, a bunch of eggs or a bunch of processed foods which you don't know what the hell is in it, go eat the eggs. And it's actually as simple as that, isn't it, Jordan?
And you can use eggs as another one too. So someone says they're hungry, okay, eat some eggs. If all of a sudden you're not hungry, you really weren't fucking hungry.
The other thing too is that when people just go on their egg white, and if you love the taste of egg whites, go to town. Egg whites to me on their own are meh. So
no, they need help. I agree with you, Jory. They need some help.
And you're taking away half the amount of protein when you start with the egg white. So you need more egg whites to equal the same amount of protein in one whole egg. So get it in now. Obviously, the calories are different. I get that. But when you're getting the calories from the fat content, you're also going to feel fuller longer.
Yes. Well, and that's it. But Jory, that's a generational thing too, right? Because so John and I are Gen Xers, and I think Jory, are you Gen X? Jory, you're.
Well, I would say yes, because I am 49 in a
You're on
few.
the edge of it, yeah. But I bring it up because John and I were aged growing up with the old, oh, you're eating 24 fried eggs. Oh, you're gonna have bad cholesterol in your whole life. I'm thinking, no, I'm gonna go crush the 24 full eggs because I'd rather have the 24 full eggs instead of a bunch of processed crap from the store.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, and we have to look at the whole picture of the individual.
Of course, I'm trying to, yes, yeah.
But yeah, at a basic level, if you don't have any issues in terms of heart disease, your cholesterol levels overall, crush the eggs. Go to test.
Yeah.
There could be some genetic factors where perhaps you want to monitor because the science is still evolving.
Yes.
So we don't want to be like crazy and just whatever.
Yeah, I get it.
The key thing though is, and we'll go, and John, I know you're going to jump on this and same with you, Marty, is that it's really the overall diet. Include those dark leafy greens, vitamin K in there, which really helps a lot of our functionings in the body, including those berries with those flavonoids that are going to help in terms of heart health. Including complex carbohydrates, not the simple sugars. All of that, along with you can have the full fat dairy, you can have the eggs, because it's the composition of everything.
Yeah, it's the conglomeration for sure. And it's like if a person, and this is a very generalized statement, so of course there's the unique cases, but if a person is active and a person's eating whole foods, generally speaking, this conversation is going to take a back seat because he's not going to have a problem. And then the flip side, another little element to this is that our medical field, especially in the US, they're trained to work on sick people.
Yes.
They don't know really, a lot of times they don't really understand when someone is active, someone is eating right. They don't, they demonize cholesterol, not realize it's like they're so used to looking at people are sick. And it's like, if we don't get this down, this is a major threat to you. But it's not a major threat to people that live their lives properly, generally speaking.
Yes.
Jory, another word that comes up with cholesterol is, and I don't know if this is getting too technical. I don't believe it is, because I think if somebody is concerned about their cholesterol and are talking about it with their family or their doctors, they're also hearing the word triglycerides. Am I right, Jory? And let's talk about triglycerides and how that fits into the discussion with cholesterol.
Yeah, so there's a whole lipid profile, if you want to call it, right? So triglycerides is a part of that lipid profile. And it's the same thing as looking at cholesterol. Yes, we want to keep our numbers in line, but it relates right back to the same thing that we're talking about. So saturated fat, animal fats for the most part.
Yes.
Your triglycerides, your cholesterol, and there's a total cholesterol profile.
Yes.
All of it's a whole big picture, and when any one of those are not in general guidelines within limits, it will spark like, hey, what are you doing? But like John said, there should be a conversation though around what are you doing. Right. And so if you are doing the exercising, you are more often than not eating the whole foods and balancing out overall, then maybe there is a need for medication, right?
What's crazy is that it's like if you exercise regularly and you focus on eating good foods, you are now considered extreme. Yeah. How in the hell did extreme get connected to living the way that we were designed to live?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I hate that because the opposite end of that isn't considered extreme,
Exactly.
Well, yes. Yeah. So Jory, as we wrap up the segment on cholesterol, there's somebody tuning in right now. They're thinking about the discussion we're having. They're considering going to the doctor to do some tests, or they've recently got back their cholesterol results. What are you saying to that young man or that gentleman who's thinking, okay, my doctor's talking about my cholesterol, I guess I need to do something about it? What does that mean?
I love the fact that they're thinking that there's something to do, because there is.
Good.
Right. So I think that's really cool. It's finding the right people to help guide you. Are there some things that maybe you could increase in your already pretty decent nutrition plan? Yeah. And is there some sort of place where maybe you need some rest in your training, or maybe you need to increase your workouts. So there might be some
Such a
tweaks
balance.
you can do to assist in that. The good news is that there is something to do. We might need to sift through to see what that is, but you absolutely can. And good on men that are investigating. I've had to tell my husband before, like, when was the last time you had a checkup, like a full-on physical? I think it's important because if you do that annually, for example, you can then now ask for that blood work and that information, and you'll be able to see trends over time. Because getting blood work done at one point doesn't tell you the whole story. It's finding the trends, so then you can act on it in the right way, and then there's hope for being the best version that you can be for yourself, for the people around you. So I would say digging into it, fantastic. It's not doom and gloom. It's now what can I do? And there is something that you can do.
Well, and I wanted to make it a part of today's conversation, Jory, because in my experience, at least my experience going to doctors and talking with gentlemen our age, that always seems to be the first thing on the list from the Western doctor. Oh, let's look at your cholesterol, right? And it's like that's how we were raised.
Well, that's because there's this wonderful thing called the statin drug they love to prescribe.
I was just going to say, yes. No,
I'm thinking to myself, how can I get a little extra coin in my pocket this month? Well, shit, I just got to prescribe enough of this, and good old somebody's going to give me a magical payment.
Yeah. Yes.
So yes.
So go to your conversation today with your doctor. Listen to everything your doctor has to say. Talk to a dietitian. My recommendation is, and no, I'm not going to say not right. Gather information, gather facts, and make decisions that are best for you. But I don't think you got to rush to just gather the information, right, Jory?
Exactly. Gather the information, because everything is information. And then from there, you can make a good decision.
Yes. Yeah. There you go.
Keith. Right. Hey, Keith, got to put your foot down, man. Say what you got to say, man.
Well, because what I don't want to say is I don't want to.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
I don't want to give misleading advice by saying don't fucking rush to the prescription, because I know my experience, and Johnny said it, 99% of the time, and Jory, you got high cholesterol. Here's your drugs. Go get your prescription, and off you go. And then it's like it fixes it. What I'm saying is that hold the horses, gather information, and then make decisions along the way.
I would have handed it to Jory too and had her say it, because she can say it better than all of us.
Jory, before you quickly go, you dropped a note in my inbox on Friday about pistachios. Do you want to quickly take a minute? Let's talk about that quickly.
Oh yes, or if you hear my dog.
No, that's okay. Yeah,
my daughter's getting picked up for school. So yeah, it's really, we were looking at like what makes a complete protein, and I think we just want to go back to it's the essential, meaning the ones that you have to get from the diet, and that's what they were looking at was what do you have to get from the diet. Pistachios seem to have that profile of having all of the essential amino acids to allow it to be that complete protein. So there you go.
Awesome. Jory Jansen, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for joining the conversation today on cholesterol. You stay warm today, and we'll start to connect you throughout the week.
Okay? Same with the rest of you, but there's only two of us.
I know. It's just you and me, man. Just you and me, kid. Yeah. Well, no, Jory. But so apparently the East Coast where Marty lives is going to get some cold and snow. But yeah.
We got some snow last night.
Jory, really? Yeah.
Johnny's like, I stay away from that shit.
You don't listen, man. You don't have to shovel sunshine.
Oh, geez.
Here we go.
I need some work out there, John.
Make us feel bad, Johnny.
All right, Jory's gonna get out of here. We're gonna keep the show going here.
All right, thank you, Jory.
Take care.
Hey, right, I'm out of here too, man.
Marty's gonna get out of here. Johnny, you and I are gonna reset with Scott Silverman. We're gonna bring him in for the conversation for a few minutes.
Hey, Scott, you dodging me, Scott? What's going on, Scott? Scott, like, yeah, I'm gonna cut on when that motherfucker gets off the show.
Can you guys hear me?
Scott's bringing his cigar, Marty, too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hey, also, Scott, if you could watch yourself on the vertical because we're seeing half of your face.
Yeah, I want to bring you in the middle there.
There you go. There you go. You're in the middle now. Perfect.
Cool.
Good coach.
Can you guys hear me okay?
All right, y'all. See y'all tomorrow, man. Scott,
Marty, bro.
See you. Nice to meet you. All right, y'all.
All right. See you, Marty. All right, you got Keith Billis, John Anderson, and our guest Scott Silverman joining us here mornings live with Keith and Friend. We are resetting hour 2 here. Scott Benzie, you know it's cold when AZ is at 32 degrees. Yes, it is a chilly one. Scotty, I have no audio from you, Scott. So if you can get your audio sorted out here, I got no audio on your vertical or horizontal here. Jimmy, we'll pull them off vertical. No, I got no audio on your there, pal. So we will. We're gonna reset with Scott.
How about now? Anything now?
Move from there. So, Scotty, we'll get your audio reset and we'll bring you up here in a couple of moments here. That was a fun first hour, guys. We talked about, the future. We talked channels, television channels. We talked about starting your own TV station. We talked about morning routines. Marty and myself, Johnny, we talked with Jory about cholesterol. John, I got to think guys come to you often. I have to think this. Curious about their cholesterol because I've seen your clients. And I'm thinking that much of the decisions that they've made along the way has perhaps given them some indication that their cholesterol probably isn't healthy. That's got to be one of the most common things that come to you about, Johnny.
Well, the crazy thing is that, when the way that I program people and feed them, their blood tests will get really, really good.
Yes. Right? Yes.
And so, but even still, where they're healthy as they've ever been before, in many cases, they're still trying to prescribe this statin for cholesterol. And so what I tell them is this, I say, look, I don't want you to, don't hear what I'm saying. I want you to look into it yourself.
Yes.
I said, but if you look far enough back, our cholesterol, the acceptable cholesterol levels have been dropped, meaning it has to be lower. Well, isn't that kind of interesting how the correlation of that along with this statin drug coming into the market to have some similarity of time frame. And so I guess it's unfortunate what it comes down to it is because it's you never want to take a stance against someone's doctor.
No.
So what I always do is I say, look, don't listen to what I'm telling you as the end all be all. Listen to what I'm telling you as the need to go and investigate this yourself. And it's pretty crazy because there's doctors out there that will try to prescribe a statin to someone when it's, I believe it's not necessary.
Yeah. Scotty, got you here, pal. Got you on the vertical here. What's going on, Scott?
No, I don't think he can hear us now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you, brother.
I got no sound. Fuck.
We might have to create like a really simple set of directions for people to get, because there's a lot of steps to get on here. You know what I mean?
They're pretty simple. Yeah. I don't, I'm not, listen, there's a couple of, we've had, it's funny. It's actually funny we're having this conversation because I was working on this weekend. I think we've had some of 320 some odd guests on the show here. And there have been a couple along the way that have struggled with the experience, but we'll figure.
It's interesting in many cases. I'm not talking to you, Scott, if you can hear me, but in many cases, if you read the directions of what you're supposed to do, you find your way pretty simply. And let's not talk about this show. Let's just talk about in general. If you reading the directions of something new.
But Johnny, we're men though.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've been that guy who whips open the package and starts putting shit together without looking at the goddamn directions. And I finish. I'm like, what are all these extra parts for? God damn it.
I've been there with you too, pal. I know exactly
what yeah. Terry and I, we won't build something together because we just have two different ways of doing it. And I'm like, okay, is this one you or me? Because it just doesn't work if we're doing it side by side. If it's you and you want to call me in for a task, I'm fine. But one of us has got to be the leader here.
Let's go here with this conversation, relationship discussion. So how did you and Terry realize in your partnership that, we both can't work on this task together. I'm going to walk away from this one. Where did you guys figure that out in your journey, Johnny?
Early on, man. Early on.
Yeah.
Because she has this thing with, and she recognizes it, but she has this glitch with perfectionism. And for me, I'm about moving ahead, and it's like there are times, okay, this moment has to be perfect, because if it's not perfect, then it's usually just a little bitty step within the project.
Yeah.
Right. But she looks at the whole project that way. So it's just a difference in how we move forward through things, you know. And
Yes.
so it's just we just create our roles, and
Yes.
that's what's made our relationship successful. You know, I got a great Terry story for that I'll share real quick yesterday, right? So
Yeah.
so I told you she had that wreck on her motorcycle, right?
Yes.
And her shoulder pretty jacked up. And I don't know if I told you, we figured out we know she's got to have surgery.
Yeah. You told me. Yeah.
And she's really particular about, you know, she's never had a surgery, and she's real particular about doctors. And so she's having this big struggle with, you know, accepting a surgeon that's going to work on her. Right. And so, yeah, that was like her big struggle, like really having a hard time making this decision. Well, our neighbor 2 doors over, he's a surgeon. I don't know if I told you, he came and looked at her and helped. So,
yes. Yeah.
So the kind of the word was circulating. And so he came over yesterday and said to her, look, he says, I'll do the surgery for you if that's going to make you feel better. And she literally just like burst into tears. It was so amazing. Like this eruption of emotion. Because I wasn't there when he said it, but I heard her reaction. I couldn't tell if like she got some really bad news or good news, you know.
That's awesome.
But yeah, she was just, it like lifted things. You know, she's so much happier since that whole thing came about. So it's really, and she needed that because she's been struggling with this thing.
I have to ask a funny question because you guys are in the States there and I'm here in Canada. Did he say how he's going to give her a deal too? He's like, yeah.
No, he's doing it for free.
Oh, well, that's a deal, Johnny. That's
no, literally. Yeah. He goes, look, I know the CEO of the hospital. I'll just call him, and you guys, if we can't get you in, he goes, I'm just going to send you through emergency and I'll be there.
Dude,
he goes, you go into emergency talking about major pain, you know, the basically then it overrides all the bullshit to get a scheduling session. And he goes, I'll make sure. He goes, look, I'll tell you when to go. You show up through emergency and boom, it'll be done. So we're waiting today or tomorrow to figure out what the plan is. But yeah, you know, the cool thing was a couple of years ago, he came to me and he's like, hey, you know, I got to get rid of this stomach. Can you help me? And I said, of course I can. So I ran him through a program. He had great results, helped his boy a little bit. It just shows. And of course I didn't charge him, but it just goes to show, you know, it's like when you do things for the right reason, you know, that karma comes back. Because right now, I mean, this was like such a major pain point for Terry, and it's solved. Yeah, so cool.
What comes around goes around. Speaking of what comes around goes around, I think we have Scott Silverman finally on the show. John Anderson, Scott Silverman,
let's go, baby.
Can you guys hear me? Okay,
we got you, can hear you loud and clear. So officially, I'm going. Jimmy, producer Jimmy, I'm giving Scotty this. Ready? Yeah. And we even got him centered on the vertical feed there. Holy smoker, Scotty Silverman, all the way from San Diego, California. I know, John, when Scott knocked on the door to talk about being in the lab, I'm like, yeah, it's 8 o'clock Eastern time. He's like, holy fuck, that's early. I'm like, but hey, John Anderson's up. So Scott Silverman figured it out. Scotty, how are you today, pal?
Well, you know, I set my alarm 3 different times this morning. I never hit snooze, just so you know. I hit stop. Then I got here, and I apologize. I've never had so much fucking trouble getting online, and I've never used headphones before with my in podcasts. I always listen to the speakers because I have diminished hearing, and I can't even hear my own voice now through the microphone, but as long as you can. So I'm doing great. It's really nice to be here with you guys, and I connected with you through Jeff Johnson when you guys interviewed him. So I really feel bad about, I should know more about how to do this, but I guess I'm getting older, maybe suffering from some sometimers. But my cholesterol is really low, and my blood pressure's awesome. I don't work out. And when she said green, I cringe. I'm one of those guys, when I hear the word kale, I get a little uncomfortable. I apologize if I do, but I like cigars, John. And
there we go, baby. Now that having one at 5 a.m. with a cup of coffee. Now you're jamming, baby.
Yeah. So it's so nice to be here. What can I do for you guys? How can I make life better for the people that are listening today? That's what I do. I'm a crisis coach, a family navigator, and I work with people who suffer from untreated trauma, mental health issues, and substance abuse. That's really my forte. And I don't want to correct you as the host there, Keith, but I'm not a veteran, but I work with veterans. That's my primary population I serve here. And San Diego has the 3rd largest population of veterans per capita in the country. So,
brother, I love it, because one of the things that I always say to myself and the people around me and even clients is, don't let a good tragedy go to waste. Don't let it, it's a perfect opportunity to do the things you wouldn't do when you were comfortable. And it sounds like you're dealing with people that they're in that space where, they got to do, they're in the middle of that trauma.
Well, and so's the family. So that when I get a phone call, and one of the things I like to do is give out my phone number. And if you don't mind, I'm going to do it right now, because I encourage people to call me, to text me, because if I can't help you, I can help you navigate next steps. So my phone number is 619-993-2738. 619-993-2738. And Scott H. Silverman, just Google me. And if I can help you or a loved one get access to care and support, my specialty is substance use disorder, and I'm a subject matter expert on the opioid crisis. So no one ever wants to go on a long trip in a motorhome with me, because my expertise can be a little frightening. But I do help save lives, and I am tired of going to funerals.
Dude, that opiate thing, man, I've had a couple of nasty bouts with that one. I always say that I worked my way up through the chain of the strength of that shit. And I always say, the Oxycontin should never have been released on the market. That shit is just designed to get people hooked.
Yeah. And what's interesting today, John, the opioids today, 80% of the opioids today that are non-prescription are laced with fentanyl. 80%.
80%. Holy shit.
And I had a friend,
I had a friend, literally, he was, unfortunately his wife passed of cancer, and he started using some of the painkillers himself to kind of get through it, to numb himself. And then when she died, obviously the prescription stopped coming. So he sourced them other ways, and he wasn't like a heavy user. He would basically just kind of do it when he got home. Once he had free time, he needed that distraction. And so he would take a pill or two, whatever it was. It wasn't much. He would lay on his chair and watch some TV. Well, he got some with fentanyl in it, laid down, fell asleep, never woke up.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Johnny, Scott's a recovering addict and I don't know if one is ever a recovered addict, right? Scott's a recovering addict of over 38 years of continuous sobriety, Johnny. He's helped over 50,000 recovering people. And he's an author of a book called The Opioid Epidemic.
Brother, good for you, brother. That's a major dent,
Yeah, what you don't know will destroy your family and your life. When I see that title, Scott, what don't I know about opioids that will destroy my family and my life?
First of all, it's a highly addictive drug. And what happens is, like John said, a lot of times people will get the Oxycontin from someone else. And up until about 4 years ago, I think it was 4 years ago, 275 million in the U.S. prescriptions were written.
Yeah, Jesus
for
Christ.
opioids. And you were saying it earlier about, when Big Pharma can find a pill that can make billions and billions of dollars. But what's happened is, since Oxy's kind of come off the market as a prescription drug, the cartels are creating fentanyl just like the rain is coming out of the heavens, and they are making tens of billions of dollars. And what happens is there's 400 overdoses right now a day in this country, USA.
How many?
400 per day.
Jesus.
Just on opioids. And I think the number is around 45% of those are called accidental overdoses. Now, I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. I have never heard of an accidental overdose until about 12 years ago, because if you're actively trying to take something mood altering or you want to self-medicate, you don't want to die. But the problem is that the most of the opioids that people are getting today that aren't prescribed, like I said, 80% are laced with fentanyl. And the problem with fentanyl is the people that are making it and distributing it have no quality assurance and don't really care if somebody overdoses, because when they die, it hits the news and their sales go up. But the morbidity rate, this is interesting, the morbidity rate is increased so much. The cartels, Mexican cartels who do the manufacturing, China manufactures the precursors that go into the fentanyl, have figured out they better slow it down. So now they're modifying how they dose their fentanyl, if you will. So rather than kill people, it still gets them addicted, but they live longer and buy more drugs. I mean, there's a science behind their madness, which is scary.
Really?
And that's why I push so hard to try to have a conversation about it. And I appreciate the opportunity to have a platform to talk about it, because people don't know this. I think that's the long answer to the easy question you gave me, Keith, is what don't you know? And fentanyl is a poison that's on the street. It's a poison.
You know, I saw that when I started hearing fentanyl, I was like, the first time I heard of it, it was kids in my daughter's high school that were ODing accidentally because they were laced. And so I was like, I need to know more about this. So I started, looking for it in videos and shit like that. And I found this video. I would assume a cartel guy. It was down in Mexico in the middle of a field. And he had all this shit wrapped around his head. And he was basically describing what was going on. And then it was being translated. And he was basically saying, as he was cooking and stirring this shit, he had to stay upwind. Yeah. Because if he took a whiff of the fumes, it'd just knock his lights out.
Yeah.
The fumes. I was like, oh my God, that's not, I have to imagine the actual finished product is even far stronger than the fumes coming out of that pot.
Well, and again, they're not putting stuff in test tubes and checking the quality assurance. They're just making it in the field, and the people. It
was a huge vat. It was it was like a 55-gallon drum that was cut about halfway. So they probably had 30 gallons of liquid in there.
Right, and that was just one drum, and that was just one guy.
Yeah.
So, and fentanyl. Just a lot of people don't know this, but fentanyl originally was created to help cancer patients who were not reacting well to morphine. So when it was really made, it was only through IV use in a hospital. So the concept behind it was a good one, but at the end, so was OxyContin at the start. But the studies all showed, like you guys were talking about, we really need to get contemporary data, because look, how many years did we hear that taking an aspirin every day would prevent a heart attack? 25 years, and the studies the last 2 years have just said doesn't work. The same thing about the cholesterol conversation, and I'd rather, and I'm a guy, and I loved your comment, Keith, about content, and I have ADHD. So I wake up with content in my head that goes in all these different directions. But what I want to try to help people understand is one pill can kill. And when your kids are at a party,
that's a great saying right there. That's a great saying.
And when you're at a party and somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you got to try one of these Xanaxes I got from my mom's, medicine cabinet." Well, it may look like Xanax, but it's manufactured with cotton that's laced with fentanyl, but it says Xanax. So that's what they're doing, is they're making these fake pills, and people are taking them, and that's why they're accidentally overdosing.
Wow.
The idea of an accidental overdose really just boggles my mind. But basically what you just said, Scott, because when if you're looking to manage pain or take a pill, you're not looking to kill yourself. So the idea of an accidental overdose is really kind of, it's quite contradictory, isn't it, Scott?
It is. And I'll tell you, I've been at this about 12 years with the fentanyl and the oxy and the opioid issues. And it's interesting that 10 years ago, it was a plane crash a day. Now it's 2.5 airplanes full of people a day. And it's like the government, the leadership.
Hold on, you're saying 2 planes a day crash? That's a statistic?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well,
I didn't know that.
400 people. Imagine that. 400 people plus. And by the way, that's just from opioids. We're not talking crack, coke, meth, marijuana, or alcohol, or mental health issues. And those numbers stack up. And so we have a COVID crisis going on here, and the government's now, and I say the government because they're the ones who put the data out, are happy that overdoses are down 7%. So it's only 100,000 people dying a year now rather than 107.
Well, I love percentages, right? Because it's just, 3 years ago we're up 30%, but now 3 years later we're down 7%. Yeah, but 3 years ago you were up 25%, so we're actually only 23% ahead of where we were 5 years ago. I find that quite funny. Scott, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, what got you to a point where you woke up one day going, I need to sort myself out?
Well, it was interesting. It was and actually, by the way, I just celebrated 40 years of sobriety. So, 1984.
Nice.
I had a week in New York. I was there in business, and I had a week of blackouts between some cocaine and drinking. And I woke up that morning and realized that everything I've done that week is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. And I had made a decision that morning that I was going to end my life. So it was my attempt at suicide that, unfortunately, was going to be my demise and end. But through divine intervention, it was a coincidence how it happened. I don't want to necessarily go into details today because I know we may not have the time. But I ended up not killing myself on a Friday and got into treatment the next morning, Saturday. And from that day forward, the 13th of November, my life has been different and has changed significantly. And so I use that lived experience to share with others that I believe that, I was spared for a purpose.
Yeah, 100%, brother. You were the one that was able to make it through that night, get to the treatment the next morning because the universe knew you were going to change so many lives. It had to happen. That
was not a conscious thought I had at the time. But,
no, it's probably way beyond you. It was something that was beyond, probably beyond your control.
It was. Well, I was out of control. And, 15% of the population has this addiction, which to me is a disease.
Yes.
But the 15% of us impact the other 85% negatively every day through our behavior. How about that for a stat, Keith?
I like that, Scott. What I find fascinating about what you shared with us is that, you said you had your week in New York. You woke up the Friday recognizing that, holy shit, I had a week of regret. I'm not going to remember any of it, yada, yada. You then made a decision, which took place 24 hours later to check into treatment. In my experience, while you were making that decision, you probably weren't sober. You probably had, and what I'm saying is that you were going through some depression. You're coming down from what you just went through. Like you weren't clear of mind at that point when you made that decision, but yet you made it. And that's striking to me because those of us that enable ourselves and enable our brains along the way, it's finding a moment of clarity to make a decision. You found a moment of clarity. You see what I'm getting at, Scott? You found a moment of clarity within that space to say, I need to do something about myself. Even if you weren't fully sober, then you followed through on it. And 40 years later, you continue to follow through on it, my brother.
To be candid, when you frame it like that, I think that moment of clarity wasn't necessarily mine, but came to me.
Yeah.
And I had a loving wife, which I still do today. She saw me my last 2 years, and we've been together 42 years.
Awesome.
Because the family is so important. For example, as a crisis coach and interventionist, 90% of my phone calls come from a family member. Not the person who's under the influence, because it's a disease of denial, which means the person who's under the influence thinks the rest of the world doesn't understand them.
Yeah.
And if they would just, and I stopped partying with people that wouldn't party because, it was boring and I didn't want to waste my dope on them. So I didn't. But my point is, if I had seen a doctor and I didn't know about the Fellowship of Recovery and all the different rooms you could go to, or I didn't know I had a disease. I thought, well, I'm depressed. That's why I drink. So if the doctor could help me with depression, so the first thing he did was give me a prescription, which added to my enjoyment, because if you add alcohol to certain medications, you get even higher. So I was on a train that was going to hit the station without any brakes, and I got lucky, and I was fortunate, and that's why I feel so committed to continue to do what I do and meet people like you guys and like Jeff and others across the country, because there is no network for solutions. There is a network, the treatment providers, for providing treatment, but treatment's just a tool.
Yeah,
People have to learn how to live life on life's terms. Once they remove, I call it the anesthesia. And that's something that even the expert, look, my industry, okay, I'm a treatment provider. Our outcome, you ready for this? We have a 95% failure rate. Who the fuck could ever survive with a 95% failure rate? No business, no institution, no family. And you know what? It's a $60 billion industry now. They say will be $180 billion by the end of 2027. And when you factor in COVID, that helped escalate it. Then you look at the fires in Los Angeles and the catastrophic events in the South. Look at the catastrophic event at our capital. I mean, we don't even have leadership that can agree on what day of the week it is. So the trauma, the untreated trauma is amplified. And, we'll talk again. Hopefully you'll have me back, and then in 2 or 3 years, when you guys are all making a fortune doing this and John's smoking some real cigars, we'll talk about how we look back and we ask ourselves, why are we letting so many of the people we love expire? And that's what's happening. And, we're in California. We have 40% plus of the homeless population, and 70% of them are under the influence. 15% of them are veterans, and we're just not getting better at what we're doing. And I don't blame the government, but they have the power, they have the influence, they have the money, and they're dictating to us what we should be doing. You know that saying, you do what you've always done, you get what you've always gotten? Mm-hmm. And we need to stop it. We need to tell people, look, one pill can kill.
One pill can kill, and one subscription can get your life out of bed by not hitting the snooze button. That's Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. For those of you tuning in this morning, I see you popping in here. You got myself. I'm Keith Billis. Over there's John Anderson, and over there is Scott Silverman. We are talking opioids this morning here on Mornings in the Lab. We're talking about the stuff that kills you, men. Yes, we are. And hanging out with Scott. Scott, dude, it took you some time to figure this shit out, but Johnny, the guy's bringing nuggets. The guy brought 13 minutes of just nugget after nugget after nugget. John, do you think we got to have this young man back?
Yeah, I was going to say this is just kind of this is like peeling back the first layer of the onion.
I would agree. So here's
Keith, do me a favor. Don't lie to me on the air. When you say young man, you can fucking look at me and I'm older than probably both of you guys combined. And with this gray hair, and now that I know how to.
No, you don't have hair, Scott. Don't fucking tell me you have gray hair. You don't have hair.
I love it.
But my cholesterol's low, and physiologically, I'm supposed to live till 100, according to my doctor. So I would love to do this with you guys, every week. And you know what? Be sure to put my phone number up, because I don't care who calls me. When I get a strange number in my phone, I pick it up, because you know what it is? An opportunity to say to somebody, how can I make your day better?
Awesome. Give us a number again. Jimmy, take this number down, pal. We're going to get it up. We're going to get up on our content. Scott, what's your number?
619-993-2738. 619-993-2738. And just Google me, Scott H. Silverman, because a lot, and people say to me, what are you selling? I said, I'm giving out my fucking phone number. I'm selling an opportunity to have a conversation. And I promise you, if I can't help you personally, I will help guide you to navigate to what you should be doing or could be doing next. And the good news is I don't judge anybody. I mean, if you got a problem, let's talk about it, because your problem is impacting 8 other people every day. So, be a scholar, take charge. By the way, a quick thing for Marty. I want you to share with him that I've learned over the years, 20% of the people do 80% of the work and 80 do 20. So Marty's got to work on focusing on those 20% and grow them. And to me, that's a key to leadership. Find your talent, empower them, and let them run. Half of our team are people in recovery with lived experience. In our veteran program, veteransnavigationcenter.org, we are working with veterans to help them get access to help, because half of them don't.
Awesome. So here's our post we're going to do. We're going to have Scott back for a specific conversation, John, about this, because I'm seeing the comments coming in here, and this is a conversation that folks want to have. And I'm proud to be the conduit of conversation. We want to have more of this. Look at Scott Benzie coming in saying, my fiance is 11 months now in rehab from Oxy. This shit's real, nation. This shit's real. John Anderson has talked about his struggles with this along the way. Scott Silverman has struggled with his, and there's others that are in the middle of it, Scott, that don't want to talk about it. Perhaps this is a platform where we can invite those to have the conversation. So Silverman, we are going to have you back. We are going to have you. And Rick Kletke coming in saying, congrats, Johnny, on your 4 years, and congrats to you, Scott, on your 40 years of getting after it. And Silverman, I got nothing but respect and appreciation for everything you do every single morning, getting up and helping humans around the world sort their shit out. Thanks for being vulnerable with us today. I appreciate that. And we will and are going to have you back. Okay.
Don't threaten me and understand this. I fucking spent an hour working this thing out. So God damn it. If you don't bring me back, I've got people. I used to work with ex-offenders for $5. I'll send them to your home and they'll camp out front and build a fire until you come out and say hello.
Hey Jimmy, so we know that when Scott comes back next time, we're not going to have any technical issues because the guy's going to have his shit sorted out here.
Oh and, God, I'm going on YouTube today to figure it all out.
Nick Clucky's coming in saying families have generational addiction issues. It's true. This is a conversation that affects many families around the world, and we're proud to have it here mornings in the lab. Scott, you going to rock and roll? Johnny, I know you got to rock and roll as well, right, brother?
Yep, I got some stuff ahead of the day. It's going to be a good one.
All right, so Johnny's going to get out of here. Scott's going to get out of here. I'm going to continue. We're going to do the creator spotlight and wrap it up here. Scott, before you go, Scott, 30 seconds. What do you got going on today, brother?
Today, what I have going on is I'm actually going to my home group. I go to 7 meetings a week still. Yeah. I go at 6:45 every morning, and I just listen to Experience, Strength, and Hope. And after that, it's Martin Luther King Day. Yeah. And, it's a big holiday, and I honor that. And, of course, I'm not going to watch the inauguration today. I'm actually making a conscious effort not to watch the inauguration. I'll hit the highlights later on YouTube. Yeah. And the other thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to love my family today, and I'm going to pray that people make a choice that's different. Because if it's working for you, do nothing. But if something's not working for you, do something.
That's right. That's right. All right, Scott Silverman joining us here this morning. You can find Scott over on LinkedIn all over the planet. Just Google Scott Silverman. He's got his phone number. We're going to get it up there for you guys to find it later. Scott, I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Scott.
Take care. Thanks, John. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Scotty. All right, Johnny, I know you got to rock and roll as well, brother. I know you got the restroom to hit. You got a busy day ahead of you, so I'm going to get you out of here as well. And we're back in. Great show today, pal.
Yeah, good shit. Good shit.
Yeah, I want to have more of that conversation about opiates and so forth. I know you got a story. You've been around guys that have had that shit, and I think we got to talk more about it, don't we, pal?
For sure. Yeah, that's definitely perking the people need this conversation.
Agreed. All right, pal, you get after it. We'll chat with you a little later, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, 23 hours from now, right?
Have a good loop, brother.
You too, pal. All right, John is out of here, guys. Uncle Keith's keeping the show rolling here. Yep. Boop, boop, boop. What's up, Shlomo? I got the jacket on for you today. Yeah, so we got our guy Shlomo there in the LinkedIn profile. He's like, dude, I love the jacket. I'm like, I know. So it's my favorite one. It's my favorite jacket. So, all right, Jimmy, here's what we're going to do. We are going to do the creator spotlight. That's what we're going to do. Yep. Community corner. 9:38 Eastern time here. The live morning show. I see you guys tuning in here. I'm Keith Billis. I'm your host of Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. My friends just left. Yeah, you guys came in a little late. We start the show at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Myself, C. Marty Fit joining me from Maryland. John Anderson. Google John Anderson. You guys will find John Anderson. John's former world wrestler, former world strongman, former world bodybuilder. We've created this show called Mornings Live with Keith and Friends, the only show to help men get up, get themselves sorted, achieve big audacious goals. I invite you guys to subscribe to this channel. If you're looking for the evolution of live conversation, we grew up in a world where we had recorded content, we had magazines, we had Playboy, we had Men's Journal, we had Men's Fitness, we had Sports Illustrated, we had GQ. I was one of those men that grew up with all that stuff. And along the way, we moved into a world of live conversation, and we put up our hands to be the men that are hosting the live conversations for men like you. Scott Benzie, you have a blessed day as well, my friend. I appreciate you joining us every single day. And yes, Scott, they're not my real friends. You're right, because they all fucking left me. They're like, yeah, we got to go with my dad. I'm still here. And of course, we have a good time coming in with just lost a close friend this past weekend, 56 years old. Oh, man, good time. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. Sympathies from me on behalf of the crew over here to you guys. And they say it was heart. Yes. Well, it's that's it. Good time. It's crazy, right? As you know, I'm hitting 53 this year. I don't know how old you are, good time, but I know Johnny hit 53 this year. You get to these ages and you start finding your peers that are moving on. right? And I think it makes us all reflect, doesn't it? It makes us all kind of reflect upon our own mortality, our own lives, and our own vitality, and whether we're getting after it. And if there's anything, if you think about it, right? If there's any motivation to get moving, if there's any motivation to reconsider what's next, is when we hear news like this from our friends that are passing, that are of a similar age. So if you're if you're of the demo where you got friends that are moving on or moving to the next stage in their life, aka not life, maybe there's some different decisions for you guys. So good time. Just turned 50. Good job, brother. Hey, happy birthday. When's your birthday? Good time. We've got to celebrate you, pal. I'm really appreciative of you hanging out with us in the show here every single day on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. All right, Jimmy, let's I'm gonna do this. Yeah, there's that sound effect. I think I played it already, but I'm gonna do it again for the Creator Spotlight. Yep. Okay, so this morning, Jimmy, I got the horizontal feed ready, pal. I got it ready, all right? All right. You ever felt like have you ever felt like life threw you overboard without a map? Have you? Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're not alone. The person we are going to celebrate today, imagine spending 26 years navigating uncharted waters in the Navy. Then stepping into a world where your compass doesn't work anymore. You're like, what the fuck, man? The compass ain't working. It's not working. No network, no plan, no clue on what's next. I know you, man. I know you're waking up, you're in your 40s, you're going, holy fuck, I got a hook. What am I doing now? Sound familiar? Well, listen, today's creator, who we're going to celebrate, tried the safe paths. Yeah, the corporate jobs, folding yoga pants. Yeah, I did say folding yoga pants. I did, yes. Baking cookies. We're not talking about the Flintstones. We're not talking about Wilma. No, we're not talking about Betty. We're not talking about the olden days. But this human decided that safety wasn't what she needed. No, she needed a storm to rediscover her own strength. So this morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is celebrating a creator, a Navy veteran turned entrepreneur, author, and speaker, empowering others to embrace their own pivots with resilience and grit. Through her business and personal brand, this human helps you navigate your career transitions with confidence, build resilience and leadership in any storm, and craft a life that reflects your values, not your fears. So, I'm sorry, Tommy, keep rolling the drums, brother. Pivots aren't setbacks for this human. There are opportunities to build something better on your terms. Every storm is passing and every pivot leads to possibility. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is ridiculously excited. Can you not hear in my voice how excited I am to welcome this morning for the Creator Spotlight? It is going to be this morning, Holly Taylor. Yes, sirree, Holly Taylor. Hey, I came and knocked on the door a while back there and said, hey, we got to make some content together. Holly Taylor is all about helping veterans crush civilian life with confidence. Yeah, the creator of the Salty Success Lab. Listen, if you're into salt, you're into some salty success, you got to go knock on Holly Taylor's door. 30 years of experience, military and corporate. Clearly, she has her shit together. There's no doubt about that. An author, a speaker, real talk, actionable strategies for the next chapter. All the way from Birmingham, Alabama. You're going to see Holly Taylor here popping up on the screen here. If you are looking to get your shit sorted and move on and so forth, and you're kind of waking up, kind of going, I don't know what's next, Holly Taylor can help you. So, on behalf of the entire crew this morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, we are very, very excited. And hey, look at her latest post. Men, I know if you're tuning in right now, and Silverman, I'm not talking to you. Holly has always had a thing for older men. Yeah. You can find out the rest of that post if you go tune into Holly Taylor over on LinkedIn. So Holly, we are celebrating you this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. And if you don't know how this works, we want to invite you on the show. We want you to bring somebody from your orbit to the show so that we can celebrate somebody who you think deserves to be celebrated for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends in the Creator Spotlight. There we go. There you go, Holly. Yes, we're going to get you in here to have a conversation with you and learn about what's happening in your world. What do you think of that, Jimmy? That was pretty good, eh? That was a big, Tommy, big build up, big drum roll. Yeah, celebrating Holly today. Jimmy, I got to tell you, man, I had no expectations that today's show was going 105 minutes. Yeah, almost hitting 120 today. No, I thought we're going to be at 60, 75, and then we're done. But Silverman couldn't figure shit out, and then Silverman gets in the show, and he just dropped bomb after bomb of good content. Like, we're talking just great content left and right, right? We talked a ton this morning about the future of content, the future of video. Listen, if you guys are making content right now, and if you're just making it half-assed, I'm going to give you guys something to think about. Stop. Yeah, stop. If you're in the business of making a video here or a post there, or a video here or a video there, stop. Without a strategy, without a plan, you're actually wasting your time. When you look at what people are doing for a living by making content, what we're doing here in the lab, what guys like Gary Vee are doing and so forth, if you're just dropping a piece of content without purpose, you're wasting your time. Go spend time with your family. Go do something more constructive, because you're not going to cut through the noise of what's happening. Simple as that. So, listen, all you got to do is look forward to the past, look to the future. As I started the show off here today, the future is here, guys. It's never been more clear to me. Never been more clear to me what the future holds. And all you have to do is look at the last 48 hours of what we've been dealing with the TikTok ban, the TikTok up, TikTok ban, TikTok up. The future's here, guys. All you got, look at your apps on your phone. Look at all the apps adding the video feeds. Do you think they're going back? Like, do you think they're going to go take them off? Do you think we're going back to, we're not going back to, we're going to stop video? No. Video and what we're doing right now is the future. Live video is the future. Video is the future. Live conversations are even more the future. So, all right, Jimmy, let's get out of here, man. Let's get to work. It's International Chess Day today, as we joke about here in the lab. So I'm going to get some chess work in, and got to work on the business plan, I guess, here today as well. And going to go talk to a bunch of folks. Yeah. You want to make content? You're a creator. You're a storyteller. You're somebody who's like, I got something to say. You're somebody who's got a product to sell, but you don't know how to sell it. You do it by having a conversation. I got a brand new segment following Mornings in the Lab. And I bring producer Jimmy with me. I haven't told him yet. Jimmy, you're coming with me for this one. It's called The Exchange. It's a complete show about you. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. I get out of the way. I completely get out of the way. It's all about you. It's all about your brand, your story, your product. All I do is tee it up. We have a conversation. But the branding, all the Mornings in the Lab branding gets out of the way. All the branding is for you. True story. And then we help you distribute the content on our network, but also as part of your network. So if you're going to be in business for the next 5, 10, 15 years, start having a conversation. It's quite simple. And you can do it with me. And we can continue helping you build your business about you. All right, Jimmy, talk to me, man. What do you got to say here this morning, pal? Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here and get after it and get to work. So, nope, not that one. We're going to get to this one over here. That's the one over there. Okay, here's how it's going to end. On behalf of myself, I'm Keith Billis. On behalf of Christopher Martin, see Marty Fit. He's over there. He's actually over at Gold's Gym there in Maryland doing some shit. And on behalf of John Anderson, he's over there in SoCal doing his thing. Scott Silverman, Scott Benzie, Good Time, Amy Reinhardt. Who else we got here this morning? Push the red button, Scott. Exactly. Who else we got here this morning? We got Rick Klutke this morning. On behalf of Sarah G this morning. On behalf of everybody who showed up, I appreciate all of you. You know where to find us. 8 o'clock Eastern time. The only morning show for men. The only morning show to help you guys get your ass out of bed, not hit the snooze button. You join us, you're going to be 55 hours ahead of the guy who chooses the snooze button. We'll see you guys 8 o'clock, less than 24 hours tomorrow, right here Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends. We'll see you guys. Let's get out of here, Jimmy.